Hello Slicey Dicers, this is Brian with another knife video for you. Today is Memorial Day of 2020, so I have to start this video off by saying thank you very much to all of our service members and our veterans, and especially the people that this day is about, those that gave the ultimate sacrifice to protect our country and their surviving friends and family members. We cannot thank any of you enough. This day does about as much as we can towards that. I'm a service member myself, veteran myself, so I do appreciate this day a lot too. So, and I've lost a lot of friends along the way. So thank you so much to everyone, and I hope you guys had a really good Memorial Day weekend. I'm putting this out kind of at the end of the weekend, but hope you had a really good time. So what is this list about? This is my top 10 favorite USA made companies. So brands, not just individual knives, just my favorite USA made brands. And I mean USA made, not just US based. Otherwise, probably have Spyderco on here, but they make stuff all over the place. They do make a lot in the US, so I'm not knocking them, but that's why they're not on here. I do not want this to become a political discussion in the comments. I will get very angry and block people with a quickness if it gets into that. That's not what this is about. It's not some grand statement. I feel like sometimes you have to specify that, you know, in this current political climate. So this is just my top 10 favorite USA made companies in no particular order or anything like that. And I'll just show a knife, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even, and then talk a little bit about the company. And we'll move on to the next one. Explain why I like them so much. First up is Southern Grind. I think these are highly overlooked. This is a Southern Grind Spider Monkey, their most popular model. It's the only Southern Grind that I own, but I do love the company and I freaking love this knife. And it just gets overlooked a lot. It is just a fantastic knife. It's one of those that you don't realize how great it is until you get it in your hand. And I picked one up at Blade HQ over a year ago and just immediately fell in love with it. Just the ergos are great. Really awesome blade, S35VN. I think they have made some in M4 and some dealer exclusives and stuff. This is a carbon fiber, but you can get G10 and some other animal materials. They make copper ones and stuff like that. Not only a great freaking knife that more people should own, also an amazing company. It's owned by Zach Brown, the country music star, and a vast majority of the proceeds go to support his own charity, which is a camp for sick and disabled kids. I mean, how much cooler can you get than that? And the knives are awesome, extremely good quality. They're known to have a really good warranty department. Just a great freaking company to support. I hope they come out with more models. They do have more than this. They have the Bad Monkey, which is a bigger knife, and then the Quill, which is like a long kind of slender knife. But I like the Spider Monkey the best. Go get you one of these. These things are great. Around a couple hundred. They're not cheap, but they're not insane. Go check them out. Next up, we will do Chris Reeve. I only have one because they are pretty expensive. This is the new Sebenza 31, the large size, about $450, and that's kind of where you're looking at, depending on what size you get. I think the smaller ones are a little bit smaller, but they have several different models. They're all kind of variations on the same theme, but you know what? It freaking works. So I don't blame them for not changing. Sometimes people wish Chris Reeve would do something crazy and outlandish. I don't. I like what they do. Keep doing what you do. The 31 is kind of one of their bigger departures, and it's still just an evolution on the old 21. You have the hole is missing here in the handle that was used to align up milling machines and stuff. You do have a different angle pocket clip. This is a Casey Lynch pocket clip, by the way. Also a great American-made company, by the way. This is a Casey Lynch deep carry clip, but the pocket clip was angled so that you can flick it a little bit better. I just love the 31. I like Chris Reeve, period. All of them are great because I love this one, and a lot of them are fairly similar to this. The Sebenza, though, is the Sebenza. It's a freaking icon. And yes, it is owned by a South African, or was started by a South African, but he moved here. His family runs it now. They're all born here. It's as American made as you get. It's still American made. So yeah, and just the tolerances are amazing. The reputation that Chris Reeve has is just, this is one of those companies where I feel the hype is real. I've had two now, and I've loved them both. And this one ain't going anywhere for a very long time. As you can see, made in Idaho. They do more than potatoes down there. They also make really cool dies. Next up, this is a company that is kind of rising through the ranks very, very quickly, and that would be Hogue. Hogue started out making gun grips and things like that, and then they started making knives. They make a lot of autos too. I don't have one of those at the moment. I think I do have one on the way. But then they started branching out into more just kind of production sort of knives. They do a whole lot of like aluminum handle, really cool knives too as well. But these are two of their newer models that people seem to really like, myself included. This is the Deca, about 140 bucks, about the same price. This is a Doug Ritter Mini RSK Mark 1-G2, sold by Knife Center exclusively, or I'm sorry, Knife Works exclusively, but it is a Hogue built knife. So they do just amazing quality. Since the access lock that Benchmade designed went the way of the Dodo, I mean, you can still, obviously, everybody still uses it, but the patent went the way of the Dodo, which means that it's gone in case you are not a student of natural history. Now that everybody can use it, Hogue is just taken off, and they make these two amazing Able Lock, they call their version of it, Able Lock models, a little bit thicker spring than you get in a Benchmade, so I do like that a whole lot. And just awesome knives with awesome action, very well thought out. This comes in a full size as well. This is just happens to be the Mini. This is the newest one. But love Hogue, and also, again, amazing people to deal with, and just a really cool company. They make gun grips, and then they make knives. They have 2 locations, and they have airstrips at both of them, and they like fly little planes back and forth. Like, how cool is that? They have a monster truck at one of the locations. I mean, awesome company, and it would be a blast of a place to work at. I can tell you that. As a former pilot, I'd love to work there. That would be fantastic. They have little tiny company airplanes. That is amazing. Next up, we're going to go, since we talked about this lock, one of these lists would be completely remiss without talking about Benchmade. They are all still 100% made in the US. And for a company this size, I have to really applaud them for that, for sticking to that. It would be pretty easy for them just to move production of some stuff overseas and put out more knives. Definitely would be, but they don't. And I really like their products. They have such a huge, wide range of stuff. This is my 940 with that's aftermarket carbon fiber clip on the wrong side. I set it up for lefty for a minute. That's going back. 940, a completely just iconic knife. Absolutely, it's kind of one of the absolute benchmarks of an EDC knife. The bug out, this has to be the CF Elite version, but the bug out has taken the knife roll by storm. They sell a bazillion of these things, and it's just a really great lightweight EDC. And of course, the full-size Griptilian, another icon, if you ever want to use the word. They have a whole lot of iconic designs. They've been around for a really long time. Started out making balisongs, transitioned into more EDC knives, and so glad they did. Just a great, huge, wide range of stuff. I've had nothing but good interactions with them as far as warranties and stuff goes. Benchmade definitely would have to be on this list. And next up, we'll do another company. I don't think it's a real big surprise that I'm a big fan of if you watch this channel at all, but that would be Three Rivers Manufacturing, or much more well known as, and much easier to say, TRM. Out of Massachusetts, great couple that runs the company. I love dealing with them. They've been nothing but great to this channel. Every time that I need something for a giveaway or whatever, they jump right on. Yes, their knives you have to get on a waiting list and stuff to get them. They are a small company, but the quality is outstanding. They're all made completely here in the US, and yeah, other than the waiting list, it's the only real complaint I ever hear about this place. Great people to deal with, and great people to interact with, and they make it easy. I'm going to link to everybody's, all these companies, home pages down below, but go to TRM's if you own a TRM or want one, and they'll have a link from there to their Facebook page. It's a whole lot of fun to hang out on that Facebook page. It's one of my favorite knife Facebook pages, and it's not 100% TRM. People do talk about other knives and stuff on there, and it's a good place to find out how to get on the waiting list and stuff like that when they're coming out. Or on their Instagram, they're very interactive with their customers, and that's super cool. And by the way, everybody thinks I don't get on the waiting list. I do get on the waiting list, just like you do. Just want to make sure everybody knows that. I always want to specify that. But I have to wait for the next drop, just like everybody else. They don't make a special one and shoot it out the back door for me when I get these. The coolest thing about TRMs, I think, on most of them, especially all three of these models, this is the Atom, the Neutron, and the Atlas, is you can just swap the scales in seconds, and it's obviously you can tell these are all 3 dramatically different scales. I think I have 6 sets of scales for this, and soon to be 3 for the Neutron. They're just a lot of fun just to be able to just change their clothes every now and then, like a little Barbie doll. And they're super slicey, awesome blades. That's what they're known for. 20 CV on most of them. I believe the Atlas is S35VN. It is a slip joint. They also make a model called the Nerd, which is basically this, but a more contoured, slightly different, this size, I guess, but more updated knife. And it's locking. I like the Atlas because it's slip joint, and I travel places sometimes where I have to have a slip joint, so I slightly prefer the Atlas, but that's just me. But again, great company, really cool Slicey knives, very well built. I've never had a major issue with one. I had one issue with my first Neutron. I managed to fix it myself, so it was not a big deal. But they have several other models. You just have to wait for the drops to come out. But they make them in pretty decent numbers. It's not really that hard to get on the drop. If you want to say you decide tomorrow you want an Atom, you're going to be waiting a year. You know, you're going to be waiting, you know, probably maybe a couple, 3 months at the most. Not bad at all. And they are adding manufacturing capacity every day, and that number will get shorter and shorter. But let's just take a moment to look at these G-Carta scales, that Starry Night kind of finish. Oh, they're so pretty. They have lots of other cool scale options, not just that. And now some aftermarket companies are starting to make scales for their knives too, which is really, really cool. And next, let's talk about a couple of companies that we're going to do 2 in a row here that have increased in my collection very, very quickly to a point that it's gotten a bit out of hand. So first up would be ProTech. I just got my first ProTech maybe, oh yeah, almost exactly, well, I guess I got the Mordax, which is made by them but sold by drop. I got that like a year and a half ago. But my first actual normal like ProTech was only a year ago, and now I have, I don't know, I don't even want to know, maybe 6. Great company out of California, and just make the most amazing knives. They are known primarily for automatics, and but this one is not an automatic. This is the Malibu. We're going to talk about that one a fair bit, because I think the only problem with the Malibu is going to be them making enough of them, because it is a great little knife. I already done a full review on it and stuff. You can go back and just search for Slicey Dicey Malibu, and you'll find that, unless there's some really weird, unique reality show that I've never seen before. But again, primarily known for automatics, but again, just great people, amazing warranty service, and extremely well built for very, very reasonable money. This SBR down here is like 160, and then they do the Newport, also in about that same price range. The Malibu, their new manual, which is awesome, is 200, and you're getting 20 CV steel for a really smooth action manual button lock flipper. Not bad at all, and also just an amazing slicey little knife. When these hit stores, get them. They're not in stores yet at the time I'm recording this, but when they are, get one. This is definitely in my knife of the year contender. But they do make a lot more expensive stuff too. This is the most expensive one I have, and it doesn't even approach the top of their line. This is the Harkins ATAC. They only make a few of these a year, and what's cool about this one is it is a manual. If you open it as a manual, it'll close as manual, just like a regular liner lock. But if you know the secret spot, it's an auto, and then it closes like an auto. You still have to use the liner lock to close it, but these are amazing. But you can spend, like I said, 160 bucks. This is 450 in this configuration. You can easily spend like close to, or maybe even a bit above, 5 figures for a ProTech. They do not just these production models, but a whole bunch of really super cool custom stuff. These are pretty much, all 3 of these, the most plain Jane spec you can get of each model, because I'm a boring human. But really, really cool, and definitely recommend ProTech to anybody, especially if you're looking for an out-the-side auto. They make a bunch of great ones. Never have to worry about the warranty. Fantastic people, and they do a lot to support, you know, veterans and police and law enforcement and all that stuff, and you know, and knife rights and all those things. Great company. Go check them out. Next up, you guys knew this was coming if you watch this channel at all, because you guys know I get made fun of it a lot as being a Hinderer addict, and I am. This is another company that when I started this channel 3 years ago, I think almost 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I said pretty close to the beginning that I had no interest in any Rick Hinderer knives or anything that he designs. Well, I'm pulling one out of my pocket right now. That has changed. They are very expensive knives. They start a little north of 400. They definitely are very expensive. Wound up with 5 of them now. These all happen to be dealer exclusive. So the top and the bottom are DLT trading exclusives with the no choil XM18s. This is a skinny slicer. This is a regular thickness Warney, also with a DLT exclusive carbon scale on it, which I think is appropriate for Veterans Day. The Warthog. That's why I had this in my pocket today. I was actually in the 23rd Fighter Wing, so the Warthog scales mean a lot to me. I have one for one of my other XM18s as well. And then this is a USA made blade exclusive, which, by the way, is a great place to find Hinderers. They do a lot of really, really cool exclusives. Definitely go check them out as well. Them and DLT both do a lot of really cool exclusives. This is a Warney half track. Unfortunately, you can't get these anymore. I'm sorry. But what I like the most about Hinderer, I think, is not just the design and that they're really strongly built knives, and not just that Rick is cool. And again, another company that you never have to sweat about the warranty. They'll take care of it. Not a big deal. That's why even though these are expensive knives, this and the Chris Reeve, both I feel the same way about. I don't care that they're expensive. I still use them. They're still knives that get used a lot because I just know the warranty is so good. I'm not really worried about it. But I like the customization factor. One of Hinderer's slogans is "Make it yours," and you can see this one I got actually as had a grayscale on it, which the grayscale was cool too. But I don't know, when I first started looking at Hinderer's, I had an idea of a blue XM18. I think that was maybe the first one I saw. So I got the blue scale, and then I got all the blue hardware and stuff. And these are all genuine Hinderer parts. These aren't like aftermarket stuff. But you can definitely go nuts and get the aftermarket stuff if you want. I said this was a DLT exclusive scale, which it is, but it's still made by Hinderer. So you know it's all going to fit and everything. Just fantastic. And as you can see, they do a whole lot of dealer exclusives and stuff. Just collecting Hinderers can be a hobby in and of itself. An expensive hobby. Not necessarily one I'd recommend getting into because, you know, as Nick Shabazz always says, don't get into watches. I almost feel like sometimes saying don't get into Hinderers, except that they're awesome. But if you get into them, it can be a financial strain. That's all I will say. Luckily, I've gotten a couple of gifts and stuff, so not all of mine I had to pay full boat for. So, and I appreciate presents like that. Who doesn't appreciate a present of a Hinderer? But none of these 3. I bought all these 3, but I think, well, I traded for this one. But anyway, that's more detail you want to know. Hinderer is a great company. Definitely go check them out. And next up, we will do one that has not become a problem yet, but I fear may become that. We have Microtech. Again, never had one. Now I've got 3, and that happened really, really quickly. So, but I'm not currently shopping for another one. But sometimes I see colors like somebody had one of the Bounty Hunter UTX 85s, and I was like, oh, maybe should I? But I didn't. I resisted for now. I haven't looked to see if it's still available on the site even the last few days. I've been a good boy. But love my Microtechs. Again, a company known primarily for autos, but they do some manuals. This is a manual SOCOM Elite that it took me 14 months to find exactly the configuration that I wanted, and so glad that I finally did. Thank you very much to Southern Edge for that. Southern Edges for that. I appreciate that. And this is the LUDT. This is one that you guys told me I should get, and I got it because I saw it in purple, and it was not exactly an impulse buy. I was kind of half looking for an LUDT, and then I saw the purple one. I'm like, I gotta get it. As you can see, I likes the purple. This one I got in a I bought from a guy, sent it to me as a loaner. I asked if he'd sell it to me, and he would. This is the thing they're known for, is their OTFs. This is a UTX 85, meaning it's 85% of the size of the Ultratech. I like this size. I think it's really good for EDC. I think it's a perfect size for an EDC OTF, if you consider that to be a thing. Very minimal blade play on Microtechs. They build a really good knife. So definitely go check out Microtech, but I am kind of concerned that I'm going to wind up with a bunch of them. Right now, I'm extremely happy with these 3, but then I saw the Bounty Hunter. I'm like, I don't know. So we'll see. But I have warning lights on in my head over that one. Next up, that is the father, Marfione, and now we will talk about the son. His son has a knife company as well. I only have one so far, but I know I'm going to wind up with more. that would be Heretic Knives. This is a single action OTF. The Hydra, they also make much more pedestrian OTFs, which is called the, I want to make sure I have it right here, the Manticore. So I couldn't remember the name of it for a second there. The Manticore is a normal double action. This is a single action, meaning you have to cock it. And it's a big old knife, and it's ridiculous, and it has a very aggressive Tanto blade. They make it in a bunch of different blade configurations and colors, but listen to that noise. It's addictive. Literally, like, I leave this thing sitting out, and every time I see it, I pick it up and fire it. I just have to. I just love it. Really cool hollow grind Tanto. Definitely a very unique and aggressive design, but I really do enjoy it. I've had nothing but great dealings with the company so far, and would recommend them immediately. And again, it's the son of the owner of Microtech, so you know the guy knows what he's doing. He learned from a really good designer, really good maker, so can't knock that. Definitely the heritage is there, and this thing actually is so comfortable in my hand. I do actually use this thing a fair bit. Again, very expensive, but the Manticore is not bad. The Manticore is like $280. This one you're looking at, I think this was, I think this one goes for $400, something like that. But yeah, I've been tempted by a Manticore. I just looked to make sure I had the name right, and of course a purple one came up. So, oh no, my bank account. Oh no. And then lastly, this, you cannot talk about USA made knives without talking about Medford. This is my one and only Medford. I am looking for one more. Was planning on it the whole time when I got this one. This is a slim midi. This one is one of the higher end ones. You're looking at like $650 for this one, with the textured bronze on one side and the flame anno on the other. But they make more plainer ones for down to, yeah, they're still 500 and up. They're still pretty expensive knives. The Slim Praetorian is the one I'm looking for. I like the slimmer ones, but they are more well known for their big, burly, beefy knives. And for the personality of the owner, Greg Medford. He is definitely a character. Go on his YouTube channel, watch his rants about anything and everything and everyone. But they do make really high quality knives that are built like tanks. And literally, this is a forever knife. There are very few companies that I would say is a forever knife. This is one of them. A lot of them are on this list. The Chris Reeve, I would say, is absolutely a forever knife. I've seen ProTechs with a whole lot of miles on them. Probably almost TRMs with a whole lot of miles on them. You could call almost everything on this list a forever knife, which is a nice thing about USA made, is a lot of them are built to last forever, even though they are very expensive. I think a lot of American companies realize, well, we can't compete in labor prices, but maybe we can compete a bit in quality and just in really great warranties. And Medford is a complete example of that. I do apologize in my review of this. I said you can't take it apart. That was a Medford policy for a really long time. It actually came with a pretty hilarious little note telling you that you can't take it apart, which I found very amusing. I guess that is not the case anymore. I've been corrected by a lot of Medford owners, so I guess you are allowed to take them apart now, but it is a proprietary tool or maybe some kind of spanner bit. I don't know exactly what you use to take it apart. When I find out, I'll let you know, because I'm probably going to take this one apart. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but I would. Just extremely well-built, simple knives, and a really cool company to deal with. And buying a Medford's almost, I think a lot of people feel like, oh, just from the videos and stuff, that maybe it's kind of buying into a lifestyle, almost like when you get a Cold Steel, but it's not like that. These are just really great knives. That's all I care about. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. Happy Memorial Day. Hope you guys ate way too much and had a really good time and had a bit of a respite from what's been going on the last couple months. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I've been Brian. Have a good one.